Hello everybody, this is Nerdy Geeky, and today we're actually in the real world for a change, and unfortunately you got to look at my face, and it's been a long time since I've been on camera, so it's a little weird. But today we're going to be doing some real life crafting, and I did promise this in my last Minecraft video to date of when I've been recording this. Unfortunately, I'll have to edit this when I get back to uni, so I can't edit it right now. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be turning this child's wooden sword. This is great. It's actually really good quality. I got this off eBay, and it was only £7 or £10 with postage. It's actually really well made. So it's loads of crap in here. Because we're in the real world, you may hear some ambient sounds, which includes dogs, pigeons, the rain, because it's England, and my chickens. And sometimes they can really go for it. So please ignore them in the background, I apologise. I am using my really crappy, my old digital camera, because I don't have a digital camera anymore. I take all my photos on my phone. So I'm sorry if the quality is unusually bad. My videos, they've got a bit better over the time, but yeah, this quality may be unusually bad. And this light, that is the best place that I could put it, unfortunately. If I put it anywhere else, I can't see a damn thing in here. And unfortunately, we did used to have strip lights in here, but they don't really work anymore. But what we're going to be doing is, we're going to be taking this, and what I want to do is make the handle bronze, and do a bit of leather wrap on the handle, and I want to make the blade look like it's actually metal. And I'll be taking some cues from another man that you may recognise called Adam Savage. He is one of the Mythbusters, and he has his own show over at tested.com, well, they got tested on YouTube, and he does his one-day builds and stuff like that, and a lot of these techniques I sort of picked up off him, and I really want to give him a go. So this is the first time that I've done it, so this will be very interesting. First of all, we're going to start off with something that he didn't do, because he didn't need to. This groove here, the way we're going to be doing this groove's going to get right in our way. And these grooves are really nice, they've been lathed quite nicely, but they're also a bit wonky, and that kind of upsets my OCD. So I'm going to fill in these grooves, and the great thing about this is, because we won't be painting the blade, these grooves can be filled in, and we'll smooth them out and everything like that, but they don't need to look particularly great, because we're going to be covering them up. So I have my little batch tools here. I'm just going to be using regular model filler. And this should be enough, because of the way that we're going to cover it. But what I would say is, if you were going to paint the blade, is to actually get proper wood filler, try and get it sanded down to about the colour this is, and then maybe prime it on top to try and get an even colour. We're not going to need to do that with ours, luckily, but I will need to just do a bit of sanding. I'm going to try and do as much as I can on camera. Apparently I've got 2 hours of film time on this camera. We will test that limit, believe me, today. I've only got 3 hours of time today, but I'll be continuing this throughout the weekend, so I may look a little bit more dishevelled throughout the weekend. But first off, safety tips, because if this is the first video you're ever watching, A, it's a poor choice of video to watch, and B is safety. So while doing anything, usually, I would say wear safety glasses. Now I've got these. You can have safety goggles if you have to wear glasses. I sometimes wear glasses for details. But these should be enough. I can see through these absolutely fine, no matter how ridiculous that I look with them on. For what I'm going to be doing here with the model filler, there's no point. But if you're ever grinding, or if you're ever sanding, or if you're ever spray painting, I would definitely advise these. You don't want to get paint in your eye, and you don't want to get chips in your eye either, because you can damage your eyes quite badly. And I would always recommend this, at least this good as well. This is the Maxi Mask 2000. I got this from B&Q years ago. And the great thing is, because I don't paint, spray paint very often, these pads, they last for about 6 months if you use this every day or 5 days a week, like for a job. I haven't had to change these yet. They look brand new still, and it works absolutely perfectly. It's super comfortable. Seal around my mouth. Sometimes I could smell a bit of vapour coming in. Just make sure that it's as tight as possible, and that should protect you from some of the stuff that we're going to be using today. I will be using this eventually today, although I am very bad at, sometimes I do not use it, and I should do really. If you're ever grinding anything like plastic or metal, please always use some sort of mask around your thing, because you don't want to breathe that in, because it's terrible for your lungs. Let's get started. So I'm going to put the model filler in here. I've just got a old nail file that I use for modelling. I'm just going to use that to scrape down, try and make it as... If you can make this as flat as possible, before it sets, you're going to save yourself a lot of time sanding. But this stuff's pretty easy to sand. I have used it once before on one of my Studio Ghibli models, and it's fantastic stuff. It really, really is. This stuff's quite thick, actually. It's pretty good stuff. You're supposed to spread it on in a thin layer. It's pretty thin in there, so I'm going to hopefully get away with putting it on and just leaving it to dry. This is probably not the best stuff, but I only thought about filling this today. So, what we want as well is you want it as smooth as possible, because again, it's going to help you. It's going to help you when you come to sanding it. You can be quite messy with it as well, because you're going to sand it off. Obviously, you want to put this on surfaces that you are going to be doing some sort of finishing touches on. I've got all weekend to ignore my uni revision and do this instead. I'm sort of showing you like the poor man's version of doing these things. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to let it dry. We could probably still work while it's drying, but I don't want to hold it while it's still drying, because we need to spray paint this, but I need to sand it first as well. So I'm going to do the other side and we'll be back. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to let it dry. We could probably still work while it's drying, but I don't want to hold it while it's still drying, because we need to spray paint this, but I need to sand it first as well. So I'm going to do the other side and we'll be back. So I've had to pause just a moment. It's hailing, and the hailstones are the size of gravel, which is very unusual. It usually doesn't last very long, but that is big hail. That is very unusually big hail. Yeah, it's absolutely mental out there. So I may have to wait until tomorrow. Oh wow! Wow. Wait. Let me just. It doesn't look very big on the camera, but it feels big when you're outside. So we'll be back. Okay, the hail stopped. Crazy hail that came on for about 20 minutes, and it feels like this is dried. Well, I'm going to leave it for a little bit just in case the underneath hasn't dried. Might just be the top layer that's dried. What I've been doing in the hail is I've been sanding. Now this is 180 grade sandpaper, and it's used for like wood finishing and stuff like that. So it should be just good just to get a rough surface. Now I don't know if you noticed at the start of the video, the ball on this, especially the ball on this, was really smooth and really shiny. That's not going to help us paint unless we paint a primer on, but I don't want to put too many layers on this because I'm going to be putting a few other things on this as well. So I'm going to be putting paint on it, and then I'm going to be putting something thicker on top. So I don't want to start putting putting primer on this, a couple of layers of primer on this. So I'm just sort of roughing it up. I've tried to cut off some of the thick glue they use. They use this like sort of PVA style glue, and it makes these really thick lumps of glue. It's not going to help you either. So I've been trying to do this without. The thing to do with this is just to rough it up a bit. What you don't want to do is lose any lines, lose any detail, or any shape. Now, when you got a ball, it's very easy to flatten a ball, which is why you use such a fine grain like this. And for you guys watching this video, it's already been done, it's already finished. I don't know how it's finished. You can just skip to the end of the video and you know how it looks. Or you've seen it on my Instagram by now. And unfortunately I'm talking to you from the past, and I don't know how this is finished. I hope it finished well. Leave a comment, tell me if it looks okay. I'll read it in a minute and I'll feel much better about myself, much more confident for when I finish. Because clearly, that's how recording videos and time works. Right, that is dry now. As you can see, it looks really rough right now. We'll sand it down, we'll make it look real nice. So, let's not waste any time. Now remember what I said. When using spray cans, A, wear clothes that you don't mind getting paint on or you don't mind getting ruined. Wear old clothes. This is, as you can see, this is my painting coat. This is an old coat. You need to shake this up for about a minute. This is a really big can as well. It was great. It's like £7 at Hogcraft. Fantastic. It's matte black because I want to give it. I want to use the black as like a dirt grime sort of antique look. So I'm using matte black. Always wear eye protection. Always wear a gas mask while doing this. Now, for the interest of this video, and just like everybody else on the internet, no offence, I'm going to be a massive hypocrite. This is a brand new jumper. I'm not going to wear glasses. I'm not going to wear a spray. I'm not going to wear a mask. But you should do. Oh, I can't even get in the top. Seriously? Really? Really? Apparently it takes 30 to 50 minutes to dry. Seriously? What's going on? Is it a screw top? No. That's not advised. Oh, there's instructions. There's instructions. No, I'm an idiot. It's going out to the whole internet that I am an idiot. Read the instructions is the moral of that story. When you spray, the directions I always take is spray from about a foot away, at least a foot away, quickly. Just spray, spray, spray. Spray stop, spray stop, spray stop. Don't go tsh. If you do this right close to it, it's just going to go runny, it's going to clump up. A, it's going to take ages to dry, and B, you're going to get these big streaks in it. It's going to look awful. And we're just going to... See, stroke stop, stroke stop. This is why you should wear gloves as well, because you get this all over you. It's a little spotty, actually. Luckily for us, the spots don't matter, because this really is an undercoat. But if you are using this for, like, you know, a layer of matte on the top, you don't want spots. I'm doing this indoors, but I've got a big door open. You always want to be ventilated when you do this. I'm going to put this in a vice grip. Don't ever put this straight into a vice grip because you'll ruin the wood and you'll get a vice grip sort of indentation in it. I've used just a thick glove, use a towel, use anything, put it in the vice grip, then put this in, close the vice grip just to the point that it holds. Don't put it in. Don't put it in and close it really hard. I'm going to put this in a vice grip. Don't ever put this straight into a vice grip because you'll ruin the wood and you'll get a vice grip sort of indentation in it. I've used just a thick glove, use a towel, use anything, put it in the vice grip, then put this in, close the vice grip just to the point that it holds. Don't put it in. Don't put it in and close it really hard. I'm going to leave this to dry and I'm going to go get some fresh air indoors because it's raining. Okay people, it's been some time now and it seems that the paint is dry, and it also seems like this is dry. It's filler. So we're going to sand this down. I am going to point out that I know I didn't wear a mask because I was sort of talking you through while spraying. From now on I will be wearing a mask and I will be wearing eye protection because just that little bit of spray and just that 1-2 minutes of spray, that was quite a powerful spray. And when I went in the house I actually had a bit of a headache. And yeah, it didn't make me feel very good. So that's a good example of why you should always wear a mask. It's why if you're going to do spraying, get one of these masks. Just always wear it while you're spraying. What I'll talk to you about now is sandpaper. because I've been looking into this recently as well, because I've never really had to use sandpaper too much, is that the higher the grade, the finer it is. Now this is 180, and this is classed as ultra fine, where I got it from. And this ultra fine is for like wood finishing, so it's not even for sanding, you know, thick pieces off wood. It's for just finishing off and giving it a nice finish. So that's what you're looking at the moment, and that's what we're going to be using for this. So we're going to be just scraping it down like this, and you see how I'm not ruining the wood, I'm not changing the shape of the wood. I just want to get it flat, nice and flat. Because again, this is going to kick up a lot of dust, and I'm probably going to have to do this for a while. I'm going to wear a mask. See all this dust? This is why I need to wear this mask, and that's why you need ventilation as well. You want to make it nice and flush, nice and smooth. And if it's got little bits in that you don't want, put a little bit more on, let it dry, and then just do this again. Just repeat it until it's nice, until you really want it. If that's what it looked like, that's what it is now, and that's what you want to go for. You want to stick all that off, and you just want to leave this on. That's real smooth. I can feel it under my finger. It's not going to be like screen accurate or historically accurate. It's just going to be something that I'm going to make that I like the look of. So yeah, that's it for me today, and I'll see you guys in a few seconds. But yeah, I'll let that dry. Over and out. And we're back for the second day. Now, this is completely dried. I've gave the handle a wipe. So that's completely dry. I gave it a sand as well. I did all that off camera because you've seen me doing that already. The matte paint, yeah, it's a little bit uneven, and I would paint this a couple more times to make an even coat if I was going to use this as a top coat, but matte paint, that's what it can be like. And you can see that there's shinier areas and there's duller areas, and I think that's due to our sanding, but that's fine, because I want it to look old, and I want it to look dirty, and I want it to look antiqued, so that works for me. So I'm not going to do any more on that. I'm not going to sand it down, I'm not going to paint it anymore. Our filler, as you can see, you can just see the filler in the line, and that's what you want to go for, because if you get any filler over the line, it means you've added an extra layer onto the wood, and that means anything else that you do, you're going to keep seeing that layer over and over again. You'll see the layer in the paint, you'll see the layer in the tape, you'll see a layer in everything that you use. So that's nice and smooth now, and I can feel it as I rub my finger down it. I can obviously feel the difference in texture, but I can also feel that it's flat. The only thing is, obviously, we've got a few pits here. We've got quite a big one here, a couple here, there. There's some just odd little nicks down here. I'm leaving those because I think that's going to give our metal look. I think that's going to give it a lot more of an authentic look, to be honest with you. But obviously, if you wanted this smooth, then you would go over this again with another layer, smooth it out, and sand it again until it's absolutely smooth. And you just keep rinse and repeat, basically, and it's worth it, especially if you want something to look brand new. So what we're going to be doing now is the rub and buff. Now, I couldn't get bronze rub and buff. I don't know if they do it. I don't think they do, because I even looked on the website and couldn't find it. So I've got Grecian gold, and Grecian gold I think is going to give us an antique look again by the looks of the colour of the Grecian gold. So so I'm going to continue with this. This little tube was £5.70 off Amazon, but that's fine because apparently a little tube can do 20 square feet. That is a fantastic amount. They say use your finger, a short bristle brush, or a piece of cloth. I found this dirty piece of cloth, so I'm just going to use a piece of cloth. I'm using a piece of cloth as well. I'll probably get a better action on it, but also my finger's not going to get too dirty that I'm not going to have to wash with like alcohol or something like that. So it's just, I think it's just going to be easier for me, especially doing this today. You know, so you know, recording it now, but you can do it how you want. A lot of people recommend using your finger so you don't lose much of that on this. Or, you know, so it soaks into this, but it is wax based, so I don't think we're going to lose much. So let's get started. Right, so I'm just going to take, you only need a spot of this apparently, so we're going to see what the smallest spot will do. I've never ever used this before, so you're seeing me use this for the first time. I only opened it earlier. I actually opened it on camera, and then I found out my camera wasn't recording. Fantastic stuff, fantastic. Okie dokie, so let's give this a squeeze. Oh, it's quite thick stuff. Do I have to shake this? I was told on one thing to give it a shake, but it's in a metal tube, I can't see it needing a shake. This really is gold, it's not bronze at all, this really is gold. Now that is a tiny, tiny amount. Tiny, tiny amount. Let's see what this does to the ball at the end, because it's probably going to be the easiest to rub. You're supposed to just rub in circular motions, nice rubbing motions like this. Oh wow, yeah, that does go a long way. That little spot there is going to at least do this whole ball. Look at that. Getting a little bit of black off the ball as well. But that's fine. The black is there for for sort of a grimy detail. It's not an essential. This smells actually, and if we're going to do the whole handle, I may put my mask on to do this. But you probably may not need to if we're fast enough. Oh, that looks really good. I've never used rubber buff before, but I am definitely already a fan. It's reflecting the light perfectly. You can see the black underneath. That black is absolutely working for me right now. I'm going to put a little bit more on, and I'm going to continue with the rest of this. As you can probably hear from my voice, I'm very, very happy right now. I was really worried that this wasn't going to look that great. And I think it looks fantastic. Give it a rub. It goes on quite thick at first, but if you're very quick about it, you can really rub it in nice and quick. See how I'm moving the wood and not my hand. That works well for me. You might have another way. You might want to rub your hands like this. I'm doing this first so we don't get any on the blade after we detail the blade, because as you can see, it's got the sides of the blade, and that's absolutely to be expected, because the way you've got to rub this on, your finger's not going to get in that corner very easily, certainly not without getting on the blade, and that's fine. Just look at that. Just going to give it a once over. It feels really smooth already. That black really does show through. You may not think it, but it really does show through. And you can see all the detail of the wood, all the little knocks and dings in that. Kind of looks like a really used sword now. It's seen a few battles. And there you go. Look at that. That's, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's dry, like, I can feel it a little bit when you, but it's not coming off of my hands. Super happy. Right, we are back, people, and I did double check, and the rubber buff, it only takes minutes to dry, literally just minutes. So I actually applied a second layer just to some of the areas on this, just to fill in where some of the gaps were in the corners, and some of the sort of details around here, because we're going to add a little bit of oil paint at the end to make it look a bit dirty. But what we're going to have to do now is actually finally get on to doing the blade. And I want to do the blade before, obviously, the oil paint, because the oil paint is supposed to be like the grime on top. So the way we're going to do the blade is, this is the tip that I took off Adam Savage on his channel over at Tested, is we're going to use aluminium tape. Aluminium tape. I can say that normally, but not on things. So it's sometimes called foil tape, or in America, of course, it's called aluminum tape. So what we're going to do is we're going to do half and half. Okay, people. I'll move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I want it straight. I can't count on using. And obviously, you're going to want to go over. No, it's pretty much in the middle. Obviously, I need a little bit to go over. I'm just going to cut this off. I prefer to use scissors. just going to rub this down with my finger. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but I'm getting all the little dings and all the little pops and spots. If you do get air bubbles, apparently you pop them with your knife. I haven't got an air bubble just yet that I know of. Although that looks like a decent one. Ooh. I always get nervous when doing stuff like this. There we go. It's all about taking it slow. See what I'm going to do then. A little crease at the end, that's not too bad. Because we're going to put some paper over that. So hopefully that'll get a little bit hidden. It's okay if you scuff it a little bit, because we're going to do that anyway. I'm not satisfied with how that's going on. So this time what we're going to do, I think I'm going to put one piece all the way down, cross them over in the centre here, a little bit there. I'm going to put one across the top, and then I'm going to have to just cut out pieces very carefully sized for there. That's all. Always cut away from yourself with a blade. You know what, I think that's it. It's quite tough, this stuff is. And I am being extremely generous with it. Push downwards so you can push all these air bubbles out. There's that blade. You can see how it's taken on all the little dings, and I like that. I think the blade looks really nice. I think it looks metal. Technically it is covered in aluminium tape, but it's creased at the top. So that's something I've definitely got to work on next time, is just creasing at the top. It looks fantastic. Look how shiny that looks. Okay people, we're back, and I apologise for doing this off camera, but I went back over and I did the aluminium tape, and the only issue I had really is that I've gone back to doing, you know, one whole piece on one side and one whole piece on another, and I think it looked a little bit better than wrapping it around. Now what I found is for this technique, a smaller blade is actually more difficult to do, so I'm not super happy with the results. But I'm happy enough to continue, since this is a first try, and that's why I'm doing it on a cheap wooden sword. You know, I just wanted to try these methods out. So this is how it's come out. And I think, hopefully on camera, it probably looks better than it does in person. But as you can see, I mean, it's very shiny, and it looks metal. I'm super happy with it. But I got some creases up here, and it's just... I found it basically impossible not to get creases. Now, what I did do is I poked a little hole in the creases, and I rubbed them down as much as I could to get all the air out. This is what I've finished with. I think it'll be fine. I think it just looks like it's used. I hope people grant me that level of... forgiveness, but I'm not super happy with it. But again, like I said, it's cheap. It was a £7 wooden sword, and it's great to practice on. As you can see, we've got all our little dings and dents in it, and that's what I'm glad we kept. You can see it's quite rough on this side, so hopefully the next little bit that we're going to do is going to hide some of this, make it look a bit rougher. So what we're going to take is, we're going to take some very fine steel wool. I think some places call it 000. Where I got it from, I think is just fine. 000 is fine, basically, and I think 200 is like ultra fine. And I mean, that is, it just feels like a rough jumper, to be honest with you. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna stroke it down the blade, and this is gonna give that brushed steel look. So we're just gonna big sigh, because if this doesn't go right, it's gonna upset me. So we're just gonna brush this down the blade. It's just to take that shine out of it, really. This is again a tip I got off that Adam Savage. The whole blade thing is a tip that I got off Adam Savage, and I really wanted to try it out. And I thought, well, if I'm going to try it out for the first time, let's record it, because obviously Adam Savage, he's been doing this for like decades. Like, he knows what he's doing. I am completely, I wouldn't say I'm novice, obviously, at building, because I'm not brand new to it, but I'm certainly not like a pro or nothing. I think I'm, I know enough to get by, and this is me treading into, sort of territory that I've not been in before, and it's been really enjoyable to do this on camera. It's stressful, and that's why I have to go away and do things off camera sometimes. It's extremely hard to do this on camera sometimes, because you're trying to push yourself to not make your video too long, so you're trying to do it. And because I'm doing this for the first time, there's a lot of trial and error, and that's why I've purposely left the errors in. It is just as good to know what doesn't work as to know what does work, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm pointing out what I've done that just doesn't work, and I think that's really helped with the creases, actually. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but if you look at that side, which is nice and shiny, but you look at that side, that looks like metal to me. That looks like brushed steel. I think this is helping to hide the blemishes as well. I think that's enough. Right, I am happy with that. Look at that. The overshine has gone off it. It's still shiny, but that, yes, very happy. I think that's made it look better as well. It's certainly put me to rest a little bit. Next, we're going to be making it look a bit dirty. Alright, people, we're back. It's time to do a little bit of detailing. So, what we're going to do, we're going to use the spray paint, and we're going to spray just very quickly up here. We're going to very quickly just straight up there. So we're going to let this dry. And then we'll be back. Okay, people, I think this is dry enough. Let's take this out. Got no clown marks, it's great. think that's dry enough. Now you take your steel wool again. Fine grade, triple O grade, whatever you want to use, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure it's not too coarse, because you'll just rip the whole thing up. And you just stroke it down like we did before. If you rub too much off, you can put more back on. Let's give it a bit of a polish, shall we? But not with the side that we did. Hang on. There we go. I think that looks quite nice. I think that's enough. That's quite dirty on the side. I'm hoping that detracts from the fact that it's quite rough up here. Fantastic. I'm very happy with that. So, what we've got to do next is we've got to add the weathering onto the handle. Okay, people, we are to the last stage now. I'm happy with the blade. Happy enough, anyway, regardless of what's happened up here. And messing about with it is just going to make it worse. So I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm happy with the way it looks. I'm very happy with the way it looks like old. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take some oil paint and we're going to paint it all into here. And we're going to rub it off as quick as possible. So I'm going to... this is new oil paint as well. It's all new because I've never used this sort of stuff before. You don't have to pierce this. I'm going to squeeze some out into here. And I'll squeeze a good old dollop of it out. This was only about £2.50 for this. This is lamp black, so it should be quite black. Let's hope this works. This is the part that I'm really worried about. That it's. I suppose if it's not too bad because we'll put it on. And if we don't like it, you just put some more rub and buff back on over it. But I think it looks too clean with the rub and buff. So hope Dad doesn't mind me using this. So this is oil based and it's very thick, but that helps because it shouldn't dry too quickly either, hopefully then. So if I just, see, that's real black like. Oh, you do get a lot out of this though, look at that. Hell of a lot. I think I want to be as quick as possible though with this. I don't need this drawing whatsoever. Okay, so we take this and we just rub off as much as we can. Oh, yeah, look at that. The way I've done this is a bit flimsy, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine because we're going to varnish it. But look at that. Let's get some of that dirt around the edges there. That is better than I expected, actually. That works brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. Let's put some down here. And I probably rubbed off maybe a touch too much around these. This isn't actually the finishing touch. I just realised there's one more thing that I want to do. You got to rub it off straight away. Don't let it dry. If you let it dry, you might not be able to rub off as much as you want to. But you can always apply more. I mean, I squeezed out far too much. Like, you only need a spot. It's actually getting quite hard to use this. It is possible to do this with the spray paint, but the steel wool, you can't do the steel wool on the wood. I think that's it. I think that's good enough. I think we're going to leave that. Look at that! Oh wow, I'm happy with that. It's a big spot there. Let's get all the big spots off. We'll be back soon. Okay people, it's getting late in the day now. It's 8 o'clock at night, and it's time to wind down soon. But what I'm going to do is add a leather wrap. Now, usually I've got this, it's called a leather thong. It's just leather cord basically. It's brown, I like it. I think I might have just enough. It was the last pack in Hobbycraft, so I'm gonna put it on really tight to conserve it. Now I thought about wrapping it with you know, when you wrap it around and you hook it around like that, and then you keep wrapping it, and it does wrap tight. You get that little lump in it. What I'm tempted to do is drill a little hole into the sword, just to drill a little hole. Just pop that in the hole with a bit of glue and then start wrapping from there. So for this I'm going to use a Dremel. There, it's a Dremel. I've got a very small drill bit in this. And it looks to be about the same size of the cord, and you only want it about the same size. That hole is the perfect size. Fantastic. I forgot my glue. I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my glue. I'm just using poly cement, and I know poly cement is, it says on the packet it's only for plastic, but it'll be fine for this because we're gluing it into the wood. It's in there. Just need to let this dry. What we're going to do is then we're just going to wrap it around just in circles. Nothing fancy, but we're going to make it nice and tight. That looks a lot cleaner. It's quiet tonight. I can hear the sheep at the edge of the village. Very unusual. Okay, because that's so neat, I'm going to drill a hole there. Should be deep enough. Fantastic. I'm hoping that will hold now. It's not supposed to be a super neat job again. It's supposed to be used, it's supposed to be worn. But yeah, that's how it's going so far. And I'm happy with that. It looks used, it looks worn. It doesn't really move actually. Just 2 more to go. I don't suggest doing this on your leg either. But clearly I'm a hypocrite. I've been doing this for a while though, so I should be okay. should be enough. I think I should have just got around that. So now we have our 4 holes. So wrapping and pulling, wrapping, pull. And the next time I do a sword, it will look a lot better than this, I think. Ah, oh, look at that, just enough. Fantastic. I wanted the brown, you see, they had a black wrap, but I thought, because we're doing a lot of it in black, like the black underlay and stuff like that. Okay guys, last thing left to do is to put on the varnish. I've got some Humbrol enamel varnish. I've not used this before. I don't usually varnish things. It's a gloss varnish, so hopefully won't lose any of the look of it. So I'm going to varnish the top first, and then I'll varnish the rest later. There's a few bits that I might varnish now because some of these tapes, some of the ends of the tape, you know, tape ruffles up eventually. Some of the ends of the tape are trying to ruffle up. Pray for me here, because I don't usually use varnish. I'm hoping the varnish will help seal the leather, so the leather doesn't stretch when it gets wet as well. You want to do this from about 20-30 centimetres away, just like spray paint. And you want light coats, very light, otherwise it will go white and bubble. Wow, that is going all over me. That's a really shit aerosol can. Right, that's enough. It is very watery. I'm going to put it in the vise and I'm going to leave it like that. It's all over my fingers. Next time I will use gloves. It smells as well, so next time I'll use a mask as well. I forgot to put the mask on. I'm rushing because it's night time. It's like 9 o'clock now. Right. I'm going to go wash my hands. Apparently you can spray it on 15 to 30 minutes later. So I think I'll come back and do that. I've got all of my hands anyway. I may as well just try and stick that down. I can feel it's tacky. Okay, we're back. Okay, people, I am back. It's the next day, so it's Monday now. It's bank holiday today. So I am super happy with the handle. Absolutely happy with the handle. Still a bit tacky on the leather, but I expected that because the leather's going to soak up some of this. But it's getting less tacky throughout the day, so I think another day, and that would be the varnish going to be fine over that. I'm really happy with it. There's more closer up, easier pictures on my Instagram. So if you want to check out my Instagram, it's just Stephen Sankey, all one word. And you should see this on here as the last post, most likely, depending on how quickly it took me to edit this video. But I am very happy. I'm very happy with the sword in general. Obviously, there's still issues up here with the creasing. That is something that I'm going to look into. If you've got a technique that works for you with the foil, then please do leave a comment in the section below. Sorry about the wind today. The wind's a bit high. And if I seem a little bit distracted, it's because that big spider's back and it's right behind the camera. It is disgusting. I'm going to try and get through this. I'm going to varnish the blade. I think I'm going to varnish the blade because I'm worried that the tape's going to come up or tape's going to eventually come off or something. I wasn't sure about varnishing the blade. I did a couple of tests. I think it will be okay. It may not be okay. All I know is that we need a very, very light coat. Very light coat. I did a couple of tests with the matte and the gloss. The matte really does take the shine off, and I don't want that. I'm going to do the gloss, and I think if it comes out too shiny, because varnish can fill in the cracks sometimes and make it look kind of new again, and it's meant to do that. It's meant to take out some of the flaws and impurities and things like that. If it does that, I think we'll just rub it with steel wool again. See if we can just get a little bit of that rougher look back to it, because we've now basically marked and scored the aluminium tape. Then I think that all we're going to have to do is just mark the varnish, and hopefully we'll get that effect back. I did try that a little bit at the bottom of the blade, and it looks like some of the shine's come back, but it's not easy. And basically I just got a bit of steel wool at the bottom of the blade. If I just rub it again now, Yeah, you see, you get that sort of scoring again. It looks more like scratches than it does down here with this. Than dulling, but I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay anyway. I'm just, because these gloves I got aren't great. They've got a lot of powder on the outside, and you don't want the powder on there. You don't want anything on there. You want it clean when you varnish it. Otherwise, you're going to varnish all that dirt and dust underneath the varnish. It's going to look awful. So if we just wipe it down with a cloth. And I'm mostly doing this just out of worry that this tape's going to eventually get pulled up, and I can feel it. I can feel the edge, and that's because I put one sheet there and one sheet there. And I think next time, no matter what shape the blade is, either I'll have to reshape the blade going all the way down, or I'll just have to deal with it some other way, and I need to fold it over. Fold it over so these edges aren't the edges of the tape, and the edges of the tape are in the middle of the blade. I'm going to do another one of these. These are only £7. Ta-da! These are only £7, and I've got all the materials left to do it. So literally all I need to do is spend basically £10 with postage, is buy another one of these, and then do it again. And if I do it again, obviously my pictures will be up on Instagram. I doubt I'll do another video on it because I've done this one. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is literally the first time I've done this, and I wanted to video it whilst I was doing it for the first time. So yes, some of this may seem a little bit novice. I may have done some things that you don't agree with, or things that you know how to do better. But it's a learning process for me. But there are some tips here that I hope that you take away with you as well. So, moment of truth, I hate using varnish, I'll be honest with you. Every time I've used varnish, I've always had a bad experience with it. The handle is the first good experience I've had with varnish. This is really nice. I'm so happy with it. So let's hope that stays. Here we go, people, moment of truth. This is irreversible. I'm literally I'm so nervous about this because I'm so happy with the way the sword looks, but it needs the layer of varnish. It really does. It needs the layer of varnish to stick these edges down. Well, this is kind of a prototype, so here we go. Starting now, can't stop. That's it. That's all you need. Just going to spray some on the edges there. That's it, that's all I'm doing. I'm not doing it anymore. It already looks very shiny. And to be honest with you, if it comes out with this shine, I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy because it's already got the dirt in it to make it look antiqued. So I am cautiously optimistic at the moment. So let's put this in the vise. Not knock anything along the way. I did, when I tried to put this in the vise earlier, I actually did knock the light fixture. Right. So we're going to have to... it's got a little bit of dust there. Doesn't matter. Dust will make it look used, and we're probably going to spray it again. It'll have a second coat. Never just do one coat. Do two at least. I did two on the handle, and I know I keep saying this, but I'm so happy with the handle. The handle, I think, looks amazing. It looks shiny. I think that even though when I'm looking at that, you know it's not metal, I think it looks metallic enough, and the leather wrap looks great, I think, and it's holding steady at the moment. So that blade looks really nice with the gloss on it. Definitely, yeah, that looks... If that dries like that, I'll be very, very happy. So I'm going to pause this here, and we'll be back to check it out a bit later. I'm going to leave it for a few hours, though. It's my last full day at home, but I have got tomorrow morning to do this as well. Or at least to leave it till tomorrow morning to see what happens. So we'll be back. Welcome back, folks, and as you can see, it is done. I added a second layer of varnish in between takes. I actually had to go out and get some more varnish because I don't have it with me. But that little can I had, it's great, but it's only 150 mils, so it basically did 2 coats of the handle, 1 coat of the blade, but they couldn't do another coat of the blade, unfortunately. I had to go out and get another one, and they're about £5 each. So, but I have got that left to use for the next one, so you're kind of looking at probably 3 cans. No, sorry, probably 2 cans. Wait. Probably 3 cans for every 2 swords of this size that you do. Which I guess it's okay, especially if you're only making these, you know, for yourself. I'm very, very happy with this. I have put detail, because I've gone back over the footage of this camera, and the quality is naff, and I do apologise that the quality is really not good. When I'm back for the summer properly, I'll have things like my HD webcam that I can take videos with. I can just bring my laptop in here and take a video through the webcam if I ever do another project again. I do want to do a few projects through the summer, so maybe there'll be more videos out like this, or maybe I'll do little tutorial videos. I know someone's asked me to do a video on how to use and clean your airbrush, and I've been using my airbrush for long enough now that I think I probably could do basically a novice tutorial of how to use your airbrush, depending on what airbrush you've got. Mine's quite cheap, but I get away. I do some really nice stuff with it. And maybe it's just some painting tips. If you go check out my Instagram, like I said, I'll put the link below for my Instagram, because that's where I put all my work in progress, and then you can see for yourself and think for yourself. Sorry, so many spiders in this place, and you can think for yourself what you think of my work. But yeah, what you do think, please leave it in the comment section below here, or maybe leave it on Instagram or something like that. But this is the finished product, and I'll put some pictures at the end of this video so you can see it properly anyway. But I'm super happy with it. For a first attempt, I'm super happy with it. It's I would say this is cosplay worthy enough, to be honest with you, depending on what you wanted to go as. It's better than a lot of the stuff that I see there for like the regular cosplayers. You know, there's a lot of foam stuff there, and cosplay doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to be fantastic. It doesn't need to be expensive. I think this is absolutely good enough. It's you know, there's better stuff at the Comic Cons here, but there's also worse stuff. So I think you're looking at something that people will go, wow, I thought that was metal. You know, that kind of thing. But if I get up close, I don't suppose you'll be able to see this. Here's the handle, which I'm really happy with. It does look bronze. It's got the weathering, just adds that depth. It adds that three-dimensionalness to something that's already three-dimensional. But if you go back and you, there is a picture on Instagram again, as I said, of this with just the Grecian gold rub and buff, and it looks alright, but it's just a flat colour. When you add the weathering to it, you add so many dimensions, so much colour, and you could probably go back over and add a little bit other, like maybe some umber or burnt umber or whatever it is. A lot of people use that for rust and things like that. Now, I wouldn't use it for rust on bronze, but if you were doing something that was supposed to be iron, like the blade, maybe. And here's the look of the blade. This is the rough side of the blade, and this is the nice side of the blade. This is the side that I would probably, if I was going to display this, like I would have it displayed like that, with this side of the blade displayed. And as you can see, all the dirt and grime down there, well, you might not be able to see, but I'm going to take some detailed pictures. All the dirt and the grime that's gotten into all the nooks and crannies. Underneath, you can see it underneath this leather wrap, which is why you always should paint and then put the leather wrap on. So you can see it all underneath. It all just looks... I'm really happy with it. Like I said, you know, a professional, maybe someone who does prop making or something like that, would probably see this and see it as maybe not novice, but maybe sort of like intermediate. You're not really adept. But personally, I think for a first go, turning just a regular kid's wooden sword into something that I think looks fairly metallic, and technically that is aluminium on top, so it is metal or metallic. So I'm happy with it. That's good enough for me. But I want to get better, and the next one is going to be better. I don't know whether I'll do the same sword or whether I'll look for probably a different one. You don't want to keep doing the same one over and over again. You know, that's just a rerun, isn't it? It's not the next episode. So yes, overall, I'm very happy. I hope some of these tips helped. I hope there were tips in there, and yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I'm really happy with it. I was a bit apprehensive about the varnish on the blade, but it's left that. It's added detail to the blade, but it's left, you know, the scuffing that we did with the steel wool. But at the same time, the way the varnish is settled on the metal has given it more of a metal look. You know, when you look at metal, it's not completely smooth. Metal isn't smooth. It's not smooth as glass, nothing like that. And now you look at it in the light, and you can see all these little bits, and it really does bring out the metallicness of it, and it's really shiny too. Let's see. There. So yeah, super happy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please do subscribe. And all that jargon you hear from everyone else on YouTube. I have got other things, you know, reviews and stuff. I don't really do too many reviews these days because you've got to get in there first. And being in England, a lot of stuff doesn't come out first. But I do Minecraft videos. If you enjoy crafting online as well in real life, and if you want to watch those, as a Minecraft episode out every Tuesday and every Friday, and I've been keeping to that schedule lately, so that's a plus. And when I'm home, I'm going to be doing more things like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the pictures at the end of this video. Again, I apologise for the video quality. Next time will be better, and as always, everything's an evolution. Everything should be on the up and up. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I've enjoyed this, and I hope you have too. Thank you.